Hey, how's it going, guys? Domino Paris 21 here, and back with another deck profile for you all. So as you see here, what I have to present to you guys is my updated Bluish Flame Liberator deck for post G Booster Set 3. So funny thing, I guess one thing to clear something up for you guys is, yes, I did sell this deck a little while back on my last sale video, but that was like well before they announced any type of Bluish Flame support, and I didn't think that Bluish Flames would actually get any support at all. And well, they didn't really get anything, major, but with the few rares that they did got from G Booster Set 3, it definitely was good enough to really motivate me to play this deck again. So I was able to rebuild the deck. Definitely special thanks and shout out to Michael Liang from New York, you know who you are, for giving me a really good price on the deck, and some nice rarities on one of the cards, as you'll see in a little bit. But yes, Bluish Flame. So really not much to say, in terms of this build and my previous build. It's almost the same with the difference of a few cards, but in terms of how the deck plays, it's definitely improved, because like I say with strides, is that strides really expand the play options you can go about for the deck. Because what I like about the strides is that now you have alternative options and routes you can go about for playing. Because before, obviously you focus on Glare as your win condition, and you kind of like heavily rely on him to really, win the game for you. That includes drawing him and opening with him, which you're not always going to. Sometimes you're just forced to sit on your alternate grade 3, which, Percival is solid card, but he's not like a game-breaking, win potential card. So that's where the strides come in. Definitely really nice options for Gold Paladin, for them to utilize. So that's really great. And also, in those moments where, maybe you're not ready to go off with Glare yet for game, rather than just sitting on a vanilla attack, again, you have options for strides. So I'm going to explain a little bit more on that as we go through the profile. But other than that, let's actually get started. So I'm going to be brief on a lot of cards because, like I said, this is pretty much like the same deck from before. But of course, we are still sticking with the Guido. Put him in Soul. While your Vanguard is Legion, you can put him in Soul, look top 3 cards, Superior Call 1, a Liberator, and then you shuffle your deck. So again, really like this card. The fact that he can obviously get a Superior Call off for free of Counterblast, obviously to trigger Glare. He shuffles the deck as well, which is what I like. And so we are sticking with the 2 Guidos for that main reason, just because Guido is just always nice to catch another Guido, just to continue the chains of Superior Calling going to potentially pump up your Glare with Bruno, and to continue the deck shuffling, which is great. So just keep filtering those cards out, thinning out the deck, shuffling those triggers you probably stacked in the bottom maybe a few turns ago, and then just beat your opponent in, or just sack your opponent, I don't know. Next, for grade 3s, obviously we're still sticking with the 4 Prominence Glare. Just a refresher for some of you guys that may not know or forgot. Prominence Glare is while he's in Legion, whenever you Superior Call any Gold Paladin from your deck, Counterblast 1, discard a Bluish Flame from your hand, which is pretty much a grade 3, and he does gain +1 crit, and the, I guess we're going to call it Glory skill, your opponent cannot guard with grade 1 or higher. So obviously nice game, just another guard restriction card, obviously. And of course he can enable himself with that secondary ability of Counterblast 1, retire one of your Gold Paladin rear guards, and check the top 4 cards of the deck, Superior Call 1, stack the rest in the bottom. So as I always say, guys, I really love cards that are able to enable themselves. Always makes them efficient. And then we're still sticking with the Percival as our alternate grade 3, just because just a nice decent ability, just get you a nice little +1, maybe set up a nice little board, maybe start some chains going, and he's free of cost, so that's the main important thing. So simple as that. But the fact is that he is free of cost is important, because if you are forced to ride Percival and now you want to go into your options with strides, your stride units does cost a decent amount of Counterblast when played consecutively. So it's really good to still get skills off while conserving Counterblast. So that's the main reason why I like Percival a lot more now, especially for this set. Then grade 2s, we have the ever so shiny Oath Liver Aglavale. Now I usually don't like Legion rares or high rarity cards just because I don't like the weight of them, so I end up getting like too many in my hand. Hence why I never got a Legion rare as Thingsaver Dragons. But Aglavale is actually one of those cards I don't mind getting like multiples in my hand because he's actually really amazing. So one, I kind of like this Legion Rare too, like the artwork, the alternate art. Looks like he has like a 3D maneuver gear and such. Although the gold pattern is a little bit cheesy to me. It kind of feels like a kindergartner's art project. But whatever, it's in his sleeves, so I don't really notice it too much. But yes, if you don't know what he does, when he's placed on Rearguard Circle, if you have a Vanguard Liberator in his card name, which everything's a Liberator that, for the most part, you check top 3 cards of your deck, Superior Call 1, stack the rest on the bottom. So he's really amazing, of course, to open turn 2, just to get a +1 on your board. And, you know, depending on how everything plays out, you can just potentially get some more free cards. So he's actually a very important card just because he does help you to establish board presence, just to try and get some maybe early pressure, early damage onto your opponent without obviously using resources from your hand, which is, you know, what Gold Paladin is all about. So really, really fantastic card. And then of course we still have the other Aglavale, Regulation Liberator Aglavale. When Superior Call from the deck, Soul Blast 1. And check top 5 for a Bluish Flame added to hand, and he does gain +2 if you have a Bluish Flame Vanguard. So good 11k beater, and another way to search for your Bluish Flame. So definitely a must-have as a 4 of, and he's the mate of Glare, while Oath is the mate of Percival. Excuse me. And then you have your 3 of the new rare from set 3, Liberator Brenius. So what he does is while he's in Rearguard Circle, when one of your units is placed from Rearguard, he gains +2. And the ability of when he hits Vanguard, you can unflip a damage. Now, there's been a lot of questions, you know, on whether this ability stacks. Yes, it does stack on the power, so he will get +2 if you keep calling, you know, in a chain. But also, what I even found out recently is that the unflipping ability actually stacks. So yes, if you call like 2 units the same turn while he's on board and he hits, you do get to unflip 2. So yeah, pretty amazing, especially in the early game. And again, what I like a lot about archetype-based cards is that they're not restricted to like Generation Break or anything like that. So you can use it right off the bat, turn 2. So really powerful card. Next, for grade 1s, we have your 4 Liberator Perfect Guard. So we're still sticking with Liberators. And yes, I know, guys, this doesn't match, but this is all I had. So I need this to match this. So I'm working on that. But yes, anyways, we're still sticking with Liberator Perfect Guard, just the fact that they are Liberators. So it is a target for just for all of your abilities. While obviously a Perfect Guard is not going to be, you know, it's definitely not going to be the first thing I would rather call for my choices, but, you know, you never know. Like, maybe you get 2 triggers that maybe it's better to call this and maybe, like, triggers instead. So, like I said, you always want to, you know, make sure that you don't hinder yourselves in terms of your options. And while, you know, the Unflipper Perfect Guards is pretty decent to recycle Counterblast, it shouldn't be too bad. You know, Counterblasting shouldn't be too tight in this deck as long as you know how to manage your resources. And like I said, it's more important the fact that this is a Liberator. So yeah, gotta stick with that. Next, you have like the most important grade 1 in the deck and like your MVP Bruno. So guys already know, gets +3 whenever you Superior Call something from deck. So the ideal unit to put in behind Prominence Glare just to, you know, really to hit those really nice numbers. The fact is I am spoiled by playing Dark Irregulars Gilderay. I was going to say like really big premium numbers, but like honestly, you know, ideally you can hit like 36 with 3 calls, and that's a lot for this deck, even though I think that's kind of puny, you know, coming from, you know, playing Dark Irregulars Gilderay, but nonetheless it's still good. And what makes this different from like playing Dark Irregulars or Gilderay is the fact is that you can establish easy, free, advantageous, that's a word, early board presence. So that's kind of like the trade-off you get between like this deck and Dark Irregulars, because I'm sure some of you guys may ask that, because there's a decent amount of decks out there that does have guard restriction, like Gear Chronicle, Yggdrasil, like for Genesis, and this, and Gilderay, but that's the main difference that you have a Gold Paladin. Then of course you have your 3 Josephus. So Josephus still really good at 3, nice potential draw. Although, like I said before, a lot of times there are some other units you prefer calling just because they provide a little bit more actual direct benefits. But nonetheless, you know, just having the option to go into Joseph just to get a nice free +1 is always good. So never a bad thing to get free cards. I like free things. So next we have Zoran. He's definitely like my least grade 1 my least favorite grade 1 in the deck, and I'm not really too crazy about this card just because I hate the fact that he's that after he's done Superior Calling from the top 3 cards of your deck, after he goes in Soul, you do have to put the cards back in the bottom of the deck, and I don't like Sometimes I really hate it because sometimes there's like 3s and triggers that I don't want to put in the bottom, and I don't have the way to shuffle my deck right away, but nonetheless, he's still important just to keep your chains going and keep extra superior calls going. So, although, like I said, I'm not crazy about this card, he's still needed just, you know, for this extra superior call of potential. Then, moving on to triggers, we have the new critical introduced in set 3 for Gold Paladin. So it's Liberator, Bob. Anyways, so when it's superior call from the deck, you put this in the bottom of your deck, search for the top, 4 cards. Yeah, so in superior call, put it in the bottom of the deck, check the top 4 cards for a Bluish Flame card, which is pretty much your grade 3, add it to hand, and you may shuffle your deck. So obviously, of course, with Glare, you can superior call this, use this ability first. If you end up getting a 3 that you need, if you don't already have one in hand, you can then trigger Glare afterwards because they're both activating at the same time, and you choose the order that you choose that you activate them. So in case someone asks that, that's how it works. Same as when you use Regulation Aglavale. So yeah, for those, I'm still playing the 4 Flame of Victory, just because that way you don't have to rely entirely on just getting extra calls with Bruno. Like if you go 2 calls, get 2 superior calls to make Bruno +6 to make Prominence Glare column 33. Flame of Victory could just kind of get you there to make that 36 number, because 36 is really the number I want to try and hit, just because like 33, still a powerful number, but you know, your opponent can still drop 3 10s, which is pretty easy to do a lot of times, especially in Stride era. So but like forcing out 36 can make things a little awkward for them, because then it's like 3 10s and an intercept that of a grade 2 that they may need, or maybe 3 10s and just another card. But it's like guarantees 4 cards if your opponent wants to 2-pass you. So Flame of Victory can definitely get you there in terms of numbers is concerned. And most importantly, it can be a potential target for Catch Call Liberator, which we are still playing. So Catch Call, when it is superior call, put them in the bottom of the deck, check top 3, superior call 1, and you get to shuffle your deck. So I definitely still love the shuffling ability, and he can call a Flame of Victory if you just want to get another +3 for yourself. So it's really good. And your 4 heals. All Liberators, so simple as that, guys. Now what I want to talk about a little bit more is the strides. So first, we are going to play the 2 gold Fast Chase Gold Campbell. What he does is when he hits the opponent's Vanguard, look at the top 5 cards from the top of your deck and search for 1 card among them, superior call it, and then it does get +2000. So it's really nice just to kind of get another superior call out there. Maybe a little bit extra power as well, but like honestly, like I don't think you really even need to, just because I'll never really find myself in a situation where I need to use this twice, just because I'm usually going to be going to other options as well that are a little bit more viable. But the main reason why I have 2 is because I don't have a third one of this card here. Probably like the most broken card in this deck, in my opinion, for Strides. Rain Element Medu. So as I explained with Thingsaver Dragon, while your Vanguard is in Legion and you Stride, since the grade 2 mate is still part of the Vanguard and part of the heart, it will still be counted for its skill. So basically it gives you a free Stride. So like I said, like, you know, with Glare, when it's still about early mid-game, you're already Legion, and you're kind of like on turn 4, and, you know, you're kind of not ready to really go off yet with Explosion Blue for your Glare skill, and all you have is 1 grade 3 in hand. Rather than waste it and maybe try and make a gamble, hopefully, you know, either your opponent doesn't block and you crit, you can just go Medu, because it gives you 3 drive checks, and the fact that Medu gets you that grade 3, that same grade 3 back to your hand, it's amazing. So you Stride essentially for free. You get 3 free drive checks, which is great, and give you obviously more chances to maybe hit some triggers, which is nice to maybe extend some damage out there. Also nice with Medu is, you know, especially in those situations, let's say maybe you damage check a 3 and you end up healing a 3 in your drop zone. Although I don't like doing it, with this deck, for the advantage that it can build, you can afford to do it. You can discard like a 1 and a 2, and then use Medu to pick up the 3 that maybe you healed in your drop zones. That's another option for you as well. So really, really amazing card. So really like this card. That's the main reason why I want to like play it at 3, because I do see myself maybe even using it 3 times. But really fantastic card in this deck. Then next you have your 2 Scourge. Let me read this card. Golden Dragon Scourge Point Dragon. So it kind of like repeats itself. But yeah, really fantastic card coming from the Fighters Collection. Really nice alternate late game scenario, because if you feel that Glare is maybe not enough, you know, to really get you there against your opponent, because maybe you think that either you're not hitting a good number with Glare or whatnot, he's definitely a good option to go to late game. 'Cause what he does is, excuse me, when you're basically when you superior call from your deck, this unit and that unit, excuse me, let me actually read it. When a unit is superior call from your deck, that unit and this unit gets +5 till end of turn. Sorry guys, I kind of tripped up. This is like a new card to me. So yeah, so it just gives gives whatever superior call unit +5. So you can hit some pretty nice numbers, especially later in the game. So definitely a nice option to go to, which is good. So yeah, pretty good card. And then last, I am playing the 2 Spear Cross Dragon. So it's kind of like, I guess, the boss unit for Gold Paladin. Even though, honestly, I think it could have been better for Gold Paladin in general, because I think it's a little bit underwhelming seeing that, like, if Gold Paladin really is working the way it's supposed to and always superior calling, I don't know, I feel like Spear Cross is kind of like a waste a lot of times. But, like, he's good, but I don't think he's as game-breaking as, you know, as other boss, stride units for other clans are, you know, like Guild Array, Diablo, and such. So I feel like he could have been better, but nonetheless, what he does is, what's it called? When he's placed on Vanguard Circle, you pay the cost of Counterblast 2 and Persona Flip him, as long as you have 1 unit already face up in the G zone before you pay the cost. And if you have 2 more face up units, you can, check the top 5 cards from the top of your deck and superior call as many cards that is face up in your G zone. So you really only need him play him at 2, just because it's very situational on using him. Because really, for the most part, especially with Bluish Flames, I mean, you're usually not going to have a problem, you know, acquiring a night of easy board for yourself. But still, nonetheless, he's still pretty good, especially in those matchups, like especially those control AoE matchups, like against Brawlers or Kagero and such, where you can just blow up your board and keep blowing your crap up. He's definitely a nice thing to resort to, just to go in for the late game, assuming that you already maybe strode a few times on top of that. So if you already strode a few times, maybe you can get like 3 superior calls off, and then, you know, if you have a clear field, then maybe you have the chance on hitting, like, you know, your Aglavale to maybe extend some of your plays. So Spear Cross is definitely a good option to go into. The Counterblast 2 is a little bit heavy in cost, but like I said, you know, it's more situational anyway. And you're still going to be focusing on your Legion as your main win condition anyway. So like I said, you know, your strides are going to be, you know, more expanded options and alternative routes for how your game progresses, depending on how you open. So now you don't really have to rely on Glare alone, you know, to win your games. But yeah, there you have it, guys. That is the Bluish Flame deck. The deck's still definitely a lot of fun to play and still very, very competitive. Glare is still a beast of a card. So yes, as always, guys, don't forget to leave a thumbs up. It's always appreciated. And definitely subscribe to my channel if you haven't. Once again, guys, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Later.